Well, 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 what do we have here? Hi, I'm Bert. Welcome to devlog number 10, where I share everything. You know those things in life that take so long you just mentally settle in and accept that this is life from now on? That was retopology for me. My brain moved it into the same category as brushing my teeth. Alright, so before you go to bed, you'll do at least a half an hour of retopology and then brush your teeth and take the dog out and etc. etc. Until one day, it happened. Can you imagine being done brushing your teeth? And not because you lost them, you're just done. They're clean now and for the rest of your life. Well, that's how I felt when I connected the last two vertices and couldn't find any more holes to fill. There was relief, a little bit of confusion, and then it hit me. I finally had a character to put into my game world, but what's he gonna do now? Besides shimmy and explode? First, I gave him some clothes, slapped on some textures, roughed out a dagger, and then dropped in a placeholder bow, quiver, and arrows. Like I said before, finishing the hero was kind of a shock to me, so once I had him in this empty world, I realized there were a lot of questions I had to answer. And for my ability with programming, I was not going to be able to answer them inside the game engine. Full disclosure, what I did next took a heavy dose of humility. Up until this point, I scoffed at the idea that the best way to start a game was with a paper prototype, especially for a game that needed to function in real time with aiming and combat. It's crazy how much better life gets when I stop letting pride create arbitrary rules for myself. I cut up some wood and small cardboard rolls to serve as structures and stand-in resources. The map was made out of cut up 3x5 cards, and those served as terrain types. Resources and game rules were tracked on an open notebook that really did not want to lay flat. The last thing I grabbed were some RPG die from the local board game store to simulate some of the events. I couldn't help but pick up some fancy looking color tokens that caught my eye as well. The process of laying out the game on my desk did something just as valuable as give me answers. It exposed some really important questions. Namely, how strong should the enemy raids be? How much damage do I really want the raids to do to the town? Will the players have to allocate resources to rebuild after every raid? And with that in mind, what's the right balance of cost and resource acquisition? These are questions I'm still wrestling with, and for now I'm thinking that I do want the raids to do consistent damage to the structures in the town. So players will need to plan for energy and resource cost after an enemy raid. And I think if they're able to endlessly fight off the raids unscathed, there's no ultimate incentive to finish the fight. At that point, I felt I had a solid enough idea to start programming, so I did. And here's where the game stands right now. The player will be able to flip between bird's eye view, an ability known as farsight, and third person view. With farsight activated, you'll be able to place structures, station troops, and otherwise prepare for battle. In the future, this will include traps that you can lay that you'll be able to activate with your bow in third person. The way the game will progress, you'll have a day to rebuild from the previous raid, do some city building stuff, and then prepare for the coming night raid. Once the night raid comes, you'll be able to flip into third person and actually fight the battle. During the raid, you can flip into farsight, and there'll probably be a mechanic there that will allow you to keep better tabs on the battle and maybe activate some specific structures. After you finish the majority of the raid, there will be one location that keeps spawning enemies, and that's where the accuser that's leading the raid is located. In order to finish the raid entirely, you're going to have to go in and fight him one-on-one. This will essentially be a mini-boss that happens at the end of each raid. There's only going to be 3 different types, and they'll spawn randomly with the raid that's coming. But once you finish this, the raid will be completed and you'll be able to do a damage report. And this is basically where I got to with programming. I did my best to lay modular framework so that I can just plug and play once I finally get to art. After learning a little bit of C++, getting an introduction to the gameplay ability system framework, staring at blueprints, and squashing bugs for 3 weeks straight, I can confidently say one thing. Ultron is entirely believable. Computers want to do exactly what you said so bad that they would destroy the world and everything that you love just to make that happen for you. Fortunately, the world is still here, but for everyone's sake, I think I'm going to pivot to art for a while. Thanks for watching, and as always, work hard and play harder.